Welcome to another exciting episode of the Business of Digital podcast, featuring your hosts, Matt Siltala and Dave Rohr. Hey guys, excited to have you here on another one of these Business of Digital podcasts. Grateful for, as always, for Dave. How's it going, Dave?
It is raining. It's, it's the summer of rain this year for us, so.
Well, we could use some of that rain down here for sure. But let's see here. I guess we just jump into it. The interesting topic, Dave. You know, we've talked about influencer marketing before. We've talked about it on, in bits and pieces and this and that. And I think it's a great topic, but something that was interesting that you brought up to me and, kind of made it, let's talk about this and let's see what we think, what people think as we get into it. But the influencer bubble, is it bursting? Are we starting to see, and again, I've read some articles on this lately about
influencer marketing's dead. SEO is dead. Everything's dead.
It's all dead.
I'm gonna change the title. Influencer marketing's dead, so we get more clicks.
Dave said so.
I said so.
You can't throw me under the bus and say this is
not this time.
But I thought it was interesting. You shared this thread, I guess from I'd never heard of it before, but his name is Juicebox CA.
It's Jack Appleby.
Is that who it is? Okay.
Yeah, it's his real name, but it's Juicebox CA, and it's a thread that starts May 27th or so. So I've been sitting on this idea for a little while, but
and there's a lot of research that's done, and as I was looking through it and going through it, even right before we were chatting, it's so interesting how, and again, I'm gonna let you jump in and kind of explain it and take it from here. But it's interesting to me, we were having a conversation of how someone with over 2 million followers, almost 3 million followers, has such a hard time pushing 20 or something units, shirts or whatever it might be. Like, you'd think with that many following, you could just mention something, and even at a 1% conversion, have some crazy, and 1% conversion is not even astronomical to think about in a situation like that. And it's just interesting. And so I don't know, why don't you go in and share your thoughts on it and why you wanted to jump into it, and we'll go from there.
I was just checking. So 1% conversion of 2.6 million would be 26,000.
Yeah. And is that too unrealistic to think that could happen?
I'm just doing what about half of percent? So you're at 13,000. What kind of small percentage do you need to get? Oh, I'm at 0.00005 and I'm at 130.
Jeez.
So
that's not some great conversion right there.
There's 13. So yeah, half of a half, it's so small.
That's insane.
So at 23, it's 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, 9.
Sorry, it's early, folks. We're having to do maths.
I know. I have a calculator open. I'm that's a really good question. What conversion rate did she need for this to hit the number?
Yeah.
And it's a 0.1%.
It's insane because it's we were chatting just about people I know, micro influencers, people in my neighborhood. I know there's a young lady that just graduated from high school, and she'd been an influencer for a couple years now on Instagram, and she doesn't have astronomical numbers like that of followers. She has, I think, maybe 1,500 or 2,000 at the most, and
She didn't get into what is it, UCLA or Stanford? What was the school that the celebrities got their kids into?
Oh no, she's not one of them. No, yeah.
I know, I'm just
Lori Loughlin. But anyway, but she'll I noticed she'll put a swimsuit up there, and she'll be I got 100 of these, and then I noticed that there's people where can I get more of these? They're all gone or whatever, and I'm all right, so. She's just got a couple thousand followers and can easily get rid of 100 swimsuits. What's the problem here with, almost 3 million followers and we can't even get rid of 20 units?
Yeah, it was 226, and then eventually, she deleted the brand those posts, I guess, or one of them, and then eventually a couple days later, in this thread, he finds that she came back and posted that she had sold that many. She'd sold 36 units of each of the 7 products. So sold a whole 252 things. And then this guy even broke it out. It's 0.000096% conversion.
That is horrible. Something I thought was interesting, though, that you brought up before we were recording, and I think it's important to point out is, there's a lot of, and again, I don't know if this was the case with this one, if she's like a model or whatever, but if you have like the female models, a lot of the followers are going to be male, and so whatever you're pushing, I mean, if it's a swimsuit or if it's a ladies t-shirt or whatever it
or
is,
makeup,
like,
yeah,
or makeup,
anything targeted towards women.
Yeah, you're convert, like, you eliminate half of that unless, if not more, unless and again, like some of the articles I were reading were talking about how that's not really the typical male habits, buying t-shirts on Instagram or whatever. So I don't know.
And I think whenever you're looking at influencer marketing, I think this is I don't think this is an edge case. I think this probably happens more often than not in the past, because there's a lot of people that follow but won't purchase. I follow a lot of people, and honestly, sometimes they're celebrities, sometimes they're businesses, sometimes they're Instagram models, YouTubers, just photographer people. Like, I try to follow a wide variety of people. I'm probably a really bad example of like what a normal person follows, because I have like friends, industry friends, like all these different things. But I try to get a sample of what different types of content different groups produce, because not, a small business produces something usually different than a large brewery versus a small brewery versus a national chain restaurant versus a local restaurant versus, different size retailers. Everyone produces different stuff. But I think when you're working with an influencer, you also have to look at not just how many followers they have, but look at it more as a partnership. And part of the problem for this one example was, if you looked at, and Jack pointed it out, she never wore the stuff that she was selling. Like, it wasn't part of her identity. So she was just trying to sell something else. And then, he actually quotes, and I've heard this before, Mr. Logan Paul, despite all of the troubles he's had the last couple of years, and having like deals with YouTube and even getting on TV, he was actually making more money from his merch. Like I followed him for a while. It was ridiculous, the amount of posts that he would do and contests and just interacting.
What do you think?
Always had his stuff on. What's that?
What do you think the difference was in that with him?
It was his brand that he was selling, not someone else's. Like,
so he knew,
thing or a collab. It wasn't like, I don't even know if it was a collaboration that this one woman was trying to sell. Like, maybe if it's a collaboration and you're actually involved and invested in it as the influencer, but it was more of like a throwaway post of, hey, look, I like these, you should go buy them.
Right.
It wasn't a brand like what Logan Paul created with Maverick. I mean, it was based on his parrot. Like, he always had his parrot around. He always wore the stuff. He'd show off the socks and like other clips. Like, it was completely integrated product placement all the time.
Yeah, and see, that's what I was going to say. Like, I see these things doing so much better. Like, I can't remember if it was Giselle or one of the models several years back. One of her, when she had a baby, one of her kids had a certain kind of pacifier, and all of a sudden it blew up, and then overnight, like, the company that made that pacifier, like, had all kinds of orders, or I can't remember, it was something to that effect, but that was nothing that was planned. And then people see that, and then they try to reproduce that or recreate that, and it doesn't always go as well as when it's more natural.
Yeah. Well, and we just there was I just posted today in Facebook about Josh Homme working with Grohl and the guitarist from
ZZ Top.
ZZ Top.
Yeah.
And someone pointed out that,
Oh, the Louis Vuitton.
He's got a Louis Vuitton cover on his iPhone, and that,
Which, by the way, I'm just going to throw this out there.
$1,200.
Who in the hell pays $1,250 for a
Much to one of our friends pointing
case.
it out, it was probably given to him, which it probably was, for that
probably,
exact reason.
But why? The phone doesn't even cost that much.
It can if you just pay cash.
I don't understand. Dave.
I don't know. I just have a $15 case on mine. I don't care. It sits in my pocket all the time. But I'm also not a celebrity who has my phone out taking photos like that.
Yeah.
Where I can get free stuff from them. I mean, if someone wants to send me free stuff,
if someone's going to send me a $1,200 phone case, like, I'll be happy to post pictures of it by my beard all the time.
Yeah, see, there you go. But that would actually be an interesting case study. Like, Matt, who follows you, or even, Satala's beard or your photography thing? Like, the phone case actually might be a good fit. Now, maybe not a Louis Vuitton one for that much money, but
dang it,
someone that sells, and this just goes to the whole, whenever you're doing influencer marketing or any marketing, even to like a website, think of it as a partnership. Try to make it a relationship partnership more than just a single post. Think about how it ties in, how their audience or your audience can cross over, or if it makes sense. Because like this one woman, she tried to sell something that wasn't hers. It was someone else's logo, slapped it on there, and thought it would work, but didn't really integrate it into her own brand, create anything around it, really own it. It was just kind of like if I sell these, I'll get $5 a pop.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll make some money, and then complain when they didn't. Meanwhile, Logan's over here basically integrating and building a brand and making more money from that than he was from anything else he was doing. And even after he didn't have his YouTube stuff, he was still making money off of that stuff because he built his own brand.
So I think that's the key right there, Dave, is, obviously we know we joke about this stuff, but we know that there's always going to be, to a certain extent, influencer marketing. But I think,
always has been.
Yeah, exactly. I think back to,
when the celebs used to smoke.
All the Gatorade or McDonald's that I used to eat because of Michael Jordan. Damn you. But but yeah, so like,
and the shoes you wear.
Well, yeah, still to this day. Yeah, that's right. But see, so like, it's not going anywhere. But I think these kind of influencers, if you will, these ones that have like this case study that we're talking about that the Juice Box brought up, I think they're going to have to pay a little bit more attention to doing a better job, like you were talking, like with Logan Paul, and developing that brand and understanding his audience and developing it, and again, not just like throwing random crap in the air and hoping that something sticks. I
mean, you don't even have to like Logan Paul, but as a building his own brand and that kind of stuff, his whole little group of what they did, they went on a tour. Like, they had a tour where they came to Chicago, and it was basically like 12 to 14-year-old girls, I think, with some boys, but that was like their audience.
Yeah.
So the merch they were selling and the people they were selling it to was basically harassing their parents to buy them stuff. I mean, think about that.
Oh yeah, it happens to me all the time.
Yeah, DJ still will watch a video and he'll be like, I want this. I want to go here. And it's because some family on there has gone on a vacation to a water park, and now DJ goes, let's go here. That looks fun.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, it does work. It's just that, these are families in California and we have water parks here. So
you have a very nice one, not too far from you.
We have a bunch of them.
Interesting.
But, yeah, like, he just goes, oh, I want to go on that slide, or I want to go there. Like, they pick out features and they sell it to them because it looks fun and everyone's having fun. Little does he know that, the cost of airplane and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, influencer marketing has always worked and it will continue to work. I think people just think it's a silver bullet, just like I hired an SEO firm.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. Check it off. We hired an influencer. All right,
Check it out.
we sent them the stuff. We're done.
No.
You know,
Well, and
you
I
put up
think
a landing page.
I think that's a good point too. Just on the other side of that, just do it. As a brand, like if you're going to be hiring an influencer marketer, you need to know this kind of stuff. You need to know. You should do your due diligence and figuring out like what their audience is. What have they done a good job building their brand? Don't just look at it and say, "Hey, this person can push our product because she's got 2.6 million followers." Talk to them and have a little bit of a conversation and be like, look, have you done anything like this? Have you pushed anything like this? If you have done something like this, what was your conversion rate on it? Let's do a little bit better of a job with our due diligence is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Ask more questions and don't think of it. I mean, unless you just want to get some branding, but it still should be part of an overall marketing strategy. It should be a campaign or a tactic within all of that strategy. It should not be your entire, I mean, that's what basically the Fire Festival was their entire
geez.
marketing strategy was using influencers.
Yeah.
That worked for them to a very good, well, until they had to actually pull off the event. But that was their entire marketing strategy. I don't think that's going to work for many other people, if anyone else.
Yeah, and think about the brand on that side of it that they became a part of a case study that, well, what's wrong with our problem? She had 2.6 million followers and we couldn't even sell 26 of these shirts or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, interesting, something to think about. And so everybody, Dave said influencer marketing is dead. You heard it here first.
Dead. It is dead when you do it wrong.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I'll just add that caveat. Influencer marketing or influencer bubble is bursting if you do it wrong.
All right. You heard it here first, folks. So for Dave Rohr with Northside Metrics, I am Matt Sozel with Avalanche Media, and thank you guys for listening to this episode. And as always, feel free to chime in. We post these. We're on Twitter. We're pretty much everywhere. Leave comments if you want. Let's continue the discussion. So thanks, guys.
Thanks.